Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Ben Foggins Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw review video for today. For this new aka After I Saw review video for today, this is going to be my review on a film that came out last year in 2021, which this movie came out back in October of that year, and this is one I really wanted to talk to you guys on my channel for quite a bit, since a few of my friends have already talked about this movie when it was first released. And I didn't even know when I was going to review this film of last year, because for me, in October of that year, I was really busy with like my job and all that, as well as being busy with my family, and I was also seeing some brand new releases that was coming out the same time as this, and I was also reviewing as well. But since I'm off work, I feel like I should get this review over and done with. So here we go. Today's review is gonna be my review on the 2021 anthology comedy drama, and that movie is The French Dispatch. This was written and directed by Wes Anderson, and this is his latest film that he's now made. And the basic synopsis I can basically say for this movie is that it's basically a love letter to an outpost of an American newspaper that is set in a fictional 20th century French city that brings to life a collection of stories that's been published by the French Dispatch. So that's pretty much the plot synopsis I can basically say for The French Dispatch. Now, I was really looking forward to this movie. This was one of my most anticipated films of last year for myself, because there was a few reasons why. Number one was because of the director, Wes Anderson. I'm a huge fan of Wes Anderson as a filmmaker, and I think his movies are absolutely great. Even though I haven't seen Bottle Rocket, but I have seen all of his other movies leading up to this, such as Rushmore, The Life Awkward of Steve Zissou, The Dancing Limited, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and Isle of Dogs. And for those movies, I really enjoyed those movies a lot. And in terms of his films, he's made different types of films. Like, he's made live action and animation. And in terms of like my favorite live action Wes Anderson film, my favorite one has always been The Grand Budapest Hotel. I absolutely adore that film so much. It's one of my favorite comedies of the last decade, and even one of my favorite films of 2014. And in terms of like my favorite animated Wes Anderson film, my favorite one has always been Fantastic Mr. Fox. I absolutely adore that one as well. I think it's a charming yet very unique stop motion animated film, and it's definitely one of my favorite stop motion animated films I've seen over the last few years. And so when I heard he was making a new movie, which was this one, like I said, of course, I was really excited for this one. And not only did I find out this was another Wes Anderson film that's based off a book, because most of his films are just mostly based off books, though. But anyway, and another reason why I was looking forward to this movie was because of the cast. You've got a huge cast in this movie, such as Bill Murray, Frances McDormand, Timothée Chalamet, Adrien Brody, Benicio del Toro, Elisabeth Moss, Seydoux, Jeffrey Wright, Edward Norton, Willem Dafoe, Owen Wilson, and so on. I could just go on for absolutely ages, even though I don't want to get ahead of myself from that. And once I saw the trailers for this film when it was originally going to come out, of course I was really excited. I was of course really excited for this one. But unfortunately, this film ended up getting delayed back in 2020 because of you know what. It was originally intended to be a 2020 release, but it got delayed till last year because of you know what. But back in towards the end of 2020, I was wondering when this was going to come out. When it was originally going to come out in 2020, until it got delayed. Until 2021, I found out it got a new release date, and it was going to come out of 2021, which really made me happy, because again, I was dying to see this film, since I'm a huge fan of Wes Anderson as a filmmaker, and I'm a huge fan of his movies. And so I went to see this movie just a couple of days after it was released. I actually went to see this movie after I saw Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and The Last Duel, which I saw those movies first. So after I saw both of those movies, I managed to see this film because I was dying to see this film. So I went to see this, just like I said, just a couple of days after it was released. And for my screening, there was quite a few people in my screening, although it wasn't like massively packed or anything, because for my screening it was pretty small, because it was in a small screening for what I was watching. But after watching this whole movie, I gotta say, I definitely had a great time with The French Dispatch. I thought this was a great achievement from Wes Anderson. Although I wouldn't say this is his best film or anything, but this still is a great solid achievement here. But there still is quite a few things to really enjoy out of this movie, like the cast in this movie. I thought everyone all around this movie are absolutely great and very well talented for their acting here in this movie. Throughout each different types of stories that we're introduced to throughout this whole film. And I liked how Wes Anderson tells each different types of stories that we're introduced to throughout this whole film. Like for different types of options he goes for, like there are times where it's in color and in black and white, which for those two options I thought they were unique choices by Anderson himself, even though most of the stories throughout this whole film is mostly in black and white though. But I still like the options he was going for here in this movie. And there's even one where he uses animation style to it, which once after I saw that in this movie, I was like thinking in my head straight away, Wes Anderson should make a movie like that in the future at some point. But I won't say what animation style he went for this film, because there will be spoilers for those who haven't seen this film yet. But still, though, I did dig each different types of stories that were introduced to throughout this whole film. And when it comes to Wes Anderson's directing talent for this movie, it's what you expect really from a Wes Anderson film here. It's very well beautiful to look at and very unique at the same time, from the beautiful shots this film has, as well as the technical uses this film does at the same time. For having all that here in this movie, again, it's just what you expect. It's just what you expect really here from a Wes Anderson film here. And I really dug each stuff like that throughout this whole film. And when it comes to his writing talent, of course, it's just what you expect really from a Wes Anderson film again. Like I said, it's just top-notch writing for the lines of dialogue and what the characters are saying, which most of the lines of dialogue throughout this whole film is just downright funny. That I just couldn't stop laughing my ass off. And the music for this film, it fits perfectly well for a movie like this, since this is an old-fashioned yet unique, charming film here. And that's the positive I could say. And like I said before, this is definitely not Wes Anderson's best film or anything, and I don't think this is and I wouldn't say this is his worst film or anything, don't get me wrong, but this still is a great solid achievement here. I just only have 2 complaints with the film. Is that there's just one storyline in this movie that I didn't find myself caring or invested that much, really. That's one complaint I have with its story. And for the moments where it doesn't have like anything comedic whatsoever for what the characters are saying, when we get to see some characters that are just talking on with nothing to say that's all it's funny, I kind of found those moments pretty boring and kind of repetitive really, and kind of draggy at the same time, because it's mostly due to pacing issues, which this film does tend to have pacing issues here, which some of Wes Anderson's films do have pacing issues though, but for those films I kind of enjoy those ones a little bit more than this though. And also this film does tend to have some other materials from other Wes Anderson films that have been put into here, which I enjoy those films a lot more than this though. But this still is, but don't get me wrong, this still is a great solid achievement here from Wes Anderson here. But in the end, guys, The French Dispatch, this was still a great Wes Anderson film, even though, like I said, this is not his best film or anything, but this still is some stuff to really dig out of this movie. Like, it has great acting, it's beautifully well shot, and it's got a great story, it's got great music and all that. But having pacing issues, and for having one story I didn't find myself caring for that much, I still overall in the end though, I had a great time with this one though. And if you missed a chance to see this in cinemas, it is available to stream on Disney+. So that's pretty much all I have to say about The French Dispatch. I'm going to give The French Dispatch 4 out of 5. Despite having 2 complaints with this one, I still managed to have a great time with this one, even though I kind of wish this one could have been a lot more better here. But I kind of appreciate what Wes Anderson was going for here, and I can admire this one being like a love letter to old century newspapers here. And like I said, this is definitely not his worst film. This still is a great solid achievement here from Wes Anderson here. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After I Saw review on The French Dispatch, and let me know what you think of this movie. If you have seen this already, if you just recently checked out this film for the first time, did you have a great time with this, or was this not really a cup of tea? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Foggins Media Corner signing off.